Just wanted an opportunity to use the bell. Kia ora koutou, please join me in the karakia to start today's meeting. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kine ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai, e hi aki ana te atakura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu, tihei, mauri ora. Tēnā koutou katoa, nau mai ki te hui o Takere e tēnei rā. Welcome to today's Regulatory Processes Committee meeting. If any of the members do need to leave, please just let Sophie or I know, and we will move on with business. I don't believe I've received any apologies unless there are others to be received. Fantastic. Are there any conflicts of interests that members wish to declare for today's business? No, I see none. There are also no minutes that we need to confirm, as this is the first meeting, and there are no items that are not on the agenda. We also do not have our public participant yet. Unfortunately, we're too efficient. In that case, we will move on to... Oh, unless they're here? Well, that's for item 2.1. Yep, you're all good. We'll now move... Oh, perfect timing. There we go. Kia ora, Jamie. We've just gone through our normal business and we're moving into public participation. As you're representing an organisation, you've got 10 minutes to speak to the committee meeting, and if you do want an opportunity for committee members to ask you any questions, that will need to be included in that time as well. So over to you. Oh, it looks like you're on mute. We'll just try and fix that for you.
Is that working?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, lovely. So I'll keep it very brief then, so you can ask any questions if you need. Hello, my name is Jamie Wilson. I'm from Community and Events. I'm not from Disney or the production company, but I'm the event company hired to do the premiere for Avatar and the filmmakers. I do events all around the city, Christmas, New Year's Eve, and have done all the other premieres from Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, King Kong, all those before. So well versed in this happening in the city. Obviously, we've tried to minimize the impact on the city, still to hold the event and have a great spectacle for the city, both for national and international media, and a good time for the city. And the current climate is to have an event like this to really show that, Wellington is a fun, vibrant city. And part of that is film premieres, honouring the industry that works here and the filmmakers, the cast, crew, and all the suppliers that work on that movie. It results in this premiere, and the filmmakers and the studio would like to hold that, obviously in Wellington, honour that. Obviously, there is always disruption with any event that's not in an event site, like a stadium or whatever. So there is some pros and cons all around, but we've tried to minimize those. We've kept as many roads open as possible. We've kept the window of the road closure as short as possible. Unfortunately, there is a period because we do have to lay down 500 meters of barrier. That's not the bicycle fence you normally see at events. Because of a premiere and crowds, it's the stuff you see at the front of mosh pits that you see security lifting people over. It's the L-shaped, very solid, can't be moved barriers. There's 500 meters of those that go in that take time. There's the 200-meter red carpet. There's endless lengths of cable for cameras, TV crews, sound, PA, all the other things that have to go in. So it does take a little bit of time. So unfortunately, I can't make it any shorter than we are. But we aim to all be out by midnight on that night so everything can resume back to normal. We do have a transport group. We've been working through this with everyone from the council and MetLink and all the people involved, the bus companies, to keep everyone informed and try and work out the best plan possible. And that's what we put forward. Also encompassing a space for taxis, also changing the sort of Uber drop-off zone. We have done letter drops to all the businesses, apart from the standard communications that go out through the regulatory channels as far as newspaper and others. We've gone and done a letter drop and also left my email and contacts. And I've spoken to a few people that have directly reached out to me about wanting more information or understanding or how we can help them. And I've also been directly to a couple of bigger business like New World that are affected to try and work out a plan to mitigate the effect upon them. There will be some effect because obviously some people may avoid the area because it's busy and stuff, but we have kept as many roads open. If you go back to past premieres, we've normally got Tory Street shut and things like that. We've kept those open. We've kept the premiere from Tory to the embassy, and we've allowed access routes up to Mount Vic and alternative routes, the main state highway through going to and from. The basin is still all open and stuff like that. So we tried to minimize our impact to have this great event in the city. So We try to do everything we can. We try to involve everyone we can. But of course, will be some people that don't want this and don't want this to happen. But for the greater, wider city, I think it's important, and it's a good public event. And obviously, it'll be a beautiful day with blue skies to really show off Wellington on the day. So I guess that's all I can say at the moment. I open up if anyone's got any questions or particular things they want to ask me.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jamie. Did anyone have any questions for Jamie? It appears there are none. Thanks so much for presenting to us, Jamie, and for all of the work that went into organising this.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
No problem. That means we can now move on to our general business. And the first item is a favourite part of mine, a petition. Slow down the valley, we need a speed bump. Please welcome our petitioner, Nina May Bell, alongside Nicole and Mike.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Nina May tuku ingoa. I think Houghton Bay Road needs a speed bump. The cars are really fast. It is not safe for people to cross the road or for me to walk to school by myself. Some drivers speed up and down the valley over 50 kilometres per hour. They also speed around corners as well. It is not safe for kids, people walking dogs, or people biking. A speed bump would help slow the cars down and make people feel safe. Thank you for accepting my petition. Ngā mihi, Nina May Bell.
Well done.
Thank you very much, Nina. Councillors, did you have any questions for Nina May? I've got one from Councillor Osborne.
Not a question. I just wanted to say, Nina May, sorry. Congratulations. It's a really awesome petition. I'm really pleased to see you here, and I just want to urge my fellow colleagues to consider it very carefully. Thank you.
Councillor Matthews and then Councillor Tiefenbacher.
Kia ora, Nina May. So nice to see you and to have the picture. This matches this outfit. It's so cool. So my question for you is, what gave you the idea to do the petition in the first place? And also, have you ever done a petition before?
Well, no, I have not done a petition before, and the cars were just really fast. So
What gave you the idea for the petition?
Well, I just really wanted to walk to school by myself, but my parents said it wasn't safe, so yeah.
Councillor Tiefenbacher.
First of all, very well done. Secondly, do you think we need a speed bump both ways or just one way?
That's a good question.
I don't really know.
What ways are the cars?
Well,
They tend to be going fast.
yeah,
Probably both
kind
ways.
of both ways, I'd say. So,
Both ways.
yeah, both ways, I'd say maybe.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
And Councillor Al-Rubai.
Thank you. Can I just ask, I think this is an incredible thing that you've done, and the fact that you've collected so many signatures is quite inspiring. I just want to ask, and I'm curious, how did you manage to do all of that?
Well, we did a letterbox drop, and yeah, I think we put it in my school newsletter, and yeah, I think,
Word of mouth, eh? That was pretty much.
yeah, pretty much it, so yeah.
Well, ka pai, well done.
Drawing a lot of interest as well from my colleagues. We've got Mia Little to ask a question.
Hi, Nina May. Thank you for your petition. Amazing job to do that. Can you just tell me, on the road outside Houghton Bay School, is there anything at all that provides protection to kids walking to school, people walking their dogs, people biking? Is there nothing at all there at the moment?
I don't think so.
So
no.
that's
Yeah.
your petition. Sorry. And your petition's about further down the road, eh?
Yeah.
The bottom of Houghton Bay Road.
Yeah, like the new playground.
There's a new playground. So
Yeah.
at the school there is a school crossing further
Okay.
up the road.
Okay,
Yeah.
but there's nothing to apart from the crossing and warning signs for that,
No, I
there's
don't
nothing,
think
there's no humps or anything even around the school?
No.
Even if it's
No.
right, okay,
No, just so there's just so you're walking out the footpath, but
yeah.
And Councillor Riawati.
Kia ora, Nina May. Thank you for coming in. Do your friends feel the same way at the school?
Well, I think some of them maybe. I'm not totally sure. They haven't really told me about anything, so no, I don't think so. But yeah.
One thing we didn't think about was getting children to sign the petition. So most of the signatures are actually adults. Didn't occur to us until much later.
Fantastic. Any other questions? Don't see any. Thank you very much, Nina May. We'll now hear from the officers and do a bit of debate, but we'll also take a quick 5-minute adjournment afterwards if councillors want to congratulate you for submitting your petition. So feel free to stick around. I now invite up officers Ashway and Dennis to introduce the report.
Hi. Good afternoon all. Thanks Nina May for the petition, and we have done our review, and so we have done the speed count along the Houghton Bay Road north of Cave Road, and the speed count 85th percentile speed count northbound was 50.4 kph and southbound was 52.6, and the overall 85th percentile speed is 51.5. And when we check the crash history for the last 5 years, there is no reported crashes along this section of the road.
Okay, and we had a more recent speed count just completed in the last, the analysis in the last week. And what it basically confirms is nothing's really changed since 2021. So when we assess a request like this, in the first instance, we look to see if there is a speeding issue. And our view is there is not. Notwithstanding, there is about a 85th percentile southbound is about 53 kilometers an hour, which is a marginal call and would rank quite low in terms of speed intervention.
And questions? We've got one from Councillor Calvert.
How much does a speed bump cost, and does the council fully fund it, or does some funding come from NZTA?
Excellent question. Our most recent experience with them in Roseneath, and we would need something similar. We'd have to do it in both directions because drivers, unfortunately, will drive around them rather than go over them in the direction that they should. It's about $50,000 for both sides of the road. Something like this, though, given the extended length, it would take more than one speed bump. It would take a series of them because all you'll do is slow the drivers in anticipation of the first speed bump. So you would need a series throughout to lower the speed.
So sorry, I'm just a bit taken back because I don't realise how much it costs, but $50,000 for a speed bump going across just the two-lane normal road.
And this is the permanent asphalt installation as opposed to the, the little speed bumps that you spike to the road.
And do NZTA contribute any funding to that?
Not anymore. They used to. This was one of their interventions around speed. Is they would not jointly fund them anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Chung.
Thanks very much. You just said that you would need several speed bumps to actually slow the traffic down. How many do you think you would need?
On this length of road, remind me, Aswathi, the length?
So this is the section of the road.
And how long is that?
I will check that.
About 200 meters?
Yeah.
I would say you would need...
One for every 80 meter.
Yeah, so in the order of 3 to 4 installations.
Okay, so that would be how much? $50,000
Yes.
each. Okay. Yeah. So that's maybe $200,000.
Yes.
Can I ask a follow-up question, please? Is there another way of slowing traffic down apart from speed bumps? I know that NZTA give you several different options for traffic calming. So would you consider anything else to slow the traffic down?
The difficulty here is the width of the cross section. The other way to do it is to narrow the effective path, short of putting safe hit posts along the edge and narrowing up the lanes. It would be very difficult.
Great, thank you.
Councillor Matthews.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if outside of the measurement of current speeds, you could sort of outline what process we go through looking at the area and what facilities and who might be using it and crossing the road. I'm thinking of all these children in particular in this area.
Also a good question. We do look at, if a school is adjacent, for example, and there's more likelihood to be children crossing, and we do take that into account. But it would take a significant volume of activity of vulnerable road users to push it up in terms of ranking. I can think of one school crossing. This was an upgrade to an actual crossing that is deficient, is still 2 years out in terms of where it ranks, and it certainly would sit much higher than this. So I guess what I'm saying is we put it through is there a problem? How big is the problem? Develop a concept and a cost, and then we put it through a priority ranking, and it will sit somewhere on the list.
Just wanting to check, would that priority ranking be increased if there were incidents where people were hurt?
Yes.
And I guess also just do we factor into that call that comes from the community when making that decision? If it's something that, Yeah.
If there are any crashes, yes, it does factor in terms of our ranking, severity of crashes. Community input, we probably get one, about every week or two, we get a kind of request for speed mitigation. So with community input, and as you've seen in terms of the cost, it'd be very hard to fund all that. So,
So I guess what I'm hearing from you is that there are a lot of people in Nina May's situation, who are getting in contact with you, wanting some increased safety around.
And we with all the requests, we take it on board, but we have to be as objective as possible, or we'd spend a lot of money putting in speed mitigation.
Councillor Aurubai.
Thank you, Chair. I think I've got a couple of questions, if that's okay, and perhaps I should have asked this of Nina May, but if you could answer that, that would be amazing. The speed bump, is that suggested to be put at the lower end where it crosses over with Hungerford Road? Is that the area that was suggested? Okay, cool, awesome. And are there any current speed limit signage going up that road at the moment? There's none.
None.
And there's a school there, right? So is there anything in the legislation or anything to enforce such, if we don't even have speed, monitoring signage going up by a school, why are we not investigating
This
that first?
the school is subject to the variable speed limit project. So by the 1st of July next year, during drop-off, pickup, opening, closing of the school, it will be 30 kilometers per hour. 150 meters either side of the school.
And the section of this road between the Hungerford and the Cave Road is like 320 meter away from the school zone. So that will not cover the PSL signs.
Councillor Osborne.
I just have two questions. First, just to clarify, you said $50,000 for a speed bump. Presumably, in a project, if you were to do 3 or 4 speed bumps in one area, it wouldn't be $50,000 for each. You'd have some sort of efficiencies where the next one wouldn't be the same price. Is that right?
Yeah, that would be expected.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
My other question is, does your recommendations around this petition take into account the proximity of the playground? Or if I was to ask that question in a different way, if the playground was not there, would your recommendations be any different?
I would say the recommendation would be the same. It is a 50 kilometer an hour zone. It's not an activity street. If it was an activity street, we would have the potential of a lower speed, but we don't. It's a 50 kilometer an hour zone, and traffic is almost at the speed limit or slightly over.
Mayor Little.
Thank you, Chair. 2 questions. I noticed in the paper and in your presentation you talked about assessment of the traffic and speed of traffic, but we know that this is a roadway that has a school, as has already been referenced, as well as a playground, and we know that the bottom of that street, even going up from the Esplanade up as far as Hungerford Road and beyond, is quite narrow. What assessments did you make of the non-traffic factors? So the use by walkers, children, others using the road, and is there accessible data to sort of measure that in terms of the risk that has been talked about in the petition or how that is quantified?
Other than the data we have.
In terms of pedestrian counts or anything, do we have anything?
We don't have any recent pedestrian counts for the region.
Okay, thank you. My second question is, there are, in the next valley and the valley across, you've got other schools, roads with schools, Island Bay School on Clyde Street, and you've got Owhiro Bay School on Owhiro Road. Was there any comparison done with, one of those schools, Island Bay School, has road humps on either side, Owhiro Bay doesn't. Was there any comparison done with the sort of context of those situations to gauge the level of risk on Houghton Bay Road?
To some extent, and we have been holding back on doing any further speed mitigation around schools. Some of them already had it, but with the new speed setting rule and the variable speed limits coming into play, we wanted to put those in place, determine their effectiveness before we started putting more investment into speed humps.
So just a third question. So just on that, given that answer then, is it expected that there will be a reappraisal of speed limits on that part of Houghton Bay Road?
Not on this particular part because it's 300 meters away, but there certainly will be. All the schools where we will be putting in the variable speed limits will be monitored over the year to determine the effectiveness of the 30 kilometer an hour speed limits. If it's not being effective, we've got to do something else.
Councillor Randall.
No, thanks. My question's been answered.
We have one from Councillor O'Brien.
I was just wondering if the speed data goes into any more specificity. Obviously, it's an average. Just wondering if there's any way of gauging whether that route is used by anyone, I guess, by a minority of people that may be going quite fast on any particular occasion.
Yeah, it's the 85th percentile, which is the industry standard we use for assessing speed. So 15% of the traffic is going faster than the speeds that we've identified. And the reason we use the 85th percentile is you could not afford to do 100%. Because you'll always get some crazy people, you know, at some very high speeds.
Councillor Calvert.
I've just been fascinated by some of the costs because I haven't come across this before. But you know, sometimes we have signs that say slow down. You know, there's this register the speed limit, and then if you're going too close to the speed limit, it says slow down. What is the approximate cost of putting something like that in?
Those are far cheaper. I think the most recent ones we looked at are sort of in the order of 20,000, 25,000, depending on the availability of power or whether we use solar powered.
Okay, all right, thank you. And if you think about all the work that you got, all these requests for speed bumps or traffic calming and that, and I appreciate you got the project around the schools, but aside from that, what is, given the current funding, what is the timeline to do all this work that you've got on your books right at the moment?
For the variable speed project?
No, outside of the variable speed project, you know, because you've got requests for speed bumps and other minor changes to roading. Just wondering if you can give us, you know, you've got a priority list.
Yes.
If you work through that priority list now, how long would it take?
It's probably close to 3 years worth of projects. I know the school crosswalk one that I was most recently involved with is 2 years out.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Councillor Matthews.
So I just want to clarify, so prior to the last election, we would have been able to, the speed limit would have been 30 kilometres non-variable. We had power to do that and to do for a greater distance, you know, to cover the park, and we would have potentially had access to co-funding from Wakakotahi.
We could have done a lower speed.
Yes.
And we would have had access 50% cost sharing on such as speed cushions.
And it would have covered, we could have covered this area that's identified that wouldn't have had to have been as close to the school.
Yeah, if we determined it was a problem, yes.
Thank you.
And one from Councillor Rewisi.
Thank you. You mentioned that you get approximately one query per week of this nature. When I went to the website, the council website, to look for information, I couldn't readily find something. So I was just wondering, do we have publicly available information, considering the nature of this, which works in community consultation, but offers sort of Q&A or public information? Do we provide that information proactively to people?
In terms of speed mitigation or the request?
Yeah, so for example, if I write in and send in an email and say, please slow down the traffic outside, you know, I couldn't find anything on the council website directing me as to what options I have or what I should consider.
Well, for us, somebody making contact generates a service request, and it then ends up being directed to us. I assume somewhere in the service requests directory or files, one could sort it some way in terms of how many there are.
Right, thank you.
We just deal with them as they push in the door, you know, so.
Thank you.
I don't see any more questions. Thank you both very much. I've asked Councillor O'Brien to move this paper. It's in the board.
Cool. Yeah, I just want to thank Nina May for coming in again. and identifying such an important issue, and getting involved with your local council and doing such a really good presentation, and getting all your friends involved. So yeah, I think you've got a bright future, maybe as a transport planner, or maybe even a councillor. So yeah, thanks again, Nina.
And I believe Councillor Tiefenbacher is willing to second. No comment. Does anyone else wish to debate? Councillor Calvert.
Thank you, and thank you, Nina. It's good. It's actually really opened up a really great debate for us, because we found out a lot more about speed bumps and the cost and all the work that we've got on our books. So thank you so much, because you've actually added to the transparency of councils working. So thank you. But I think it's probably, and Councillor Ruiti mentioned it, one of the questions you asked is, have we got a list of what work we've got planned, the 3 years of work? And I think that might be useful for us to consider whether that's the information that we should have readily available, so you can look up, because I know we've got the same issue around strengthening of some of the banks on the side of our roads. So it'd be quite good, I think, if we could look at how that is available publicly, so you could at least look up or search your road or street and that. But, one of the challenges for our council is we're going to have a lot of competing interests for the amount of money we do have available, and how we prioritise our work. So all food for thought, but yeah, very pleased to receive this information. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I am. I look at this as a real opportunity of community engagement, and I am somewhat, surprised that I couldn't find the information on our website anywhere in terms of, what decisions are made when putting in a speed bump, a jarabah, what other considerations there might be for traffic calming and speed mitigation. And I just would wonder, I know things move and fast, but I really question whether, receiving one query per week and responding to that, whether we can do better in advancing the education around this and the opportunity. And I'd also like council officers who are listening, and it's not a poor reflection on council officers that this isn't there. Everyone's busy, but I would suggest that perhaps we take this opportunity to engage with this particular school and look at other alternative measures and explain to them how you can slow cars and how you can do it, and the costs involved. So it would be quite educational, I'm sure, for the school. Thank you.
Councillor Matthews.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank again Nina May and her whānau for coming in and for the work that's been put in to bring this issue in front of us. I guess I just want to say briefly that, and I don't want to trigger Councillor Randall, because obviously there was some disquiet about the scale of the speed reductions we were looking at last term. However, what I'm sure he and I will agree with is that outside schools and this close to schools, there is actually a real desire from the Wellingtonians to reduce speeds and to increase safety very close to our schools and playgrounds. And I guess, there's speed bumps and lower speeds are sort of being referred to as only a negative. And actually for particularly our young people, but everybody that's interested in safe streets that can be used by everybody, are actually popular and good. And I think the reduced powers that we have in this area as a result of political change is a problem. So thank you, Nina May. I'm sorry that we are not in a position where we could do more. Kia ora.
Thank you, Councillor Matthews. Councillor Randall.
Look, I'm around the table. There's different views on the general issue of traffic speeds. And I'm one who's very keen to also promote accessibility. It's always a trade-off, but I do thank you, because safety, this City Council does take safety very seriously, and I want to reassure you, irrespective of the decision that we've taken, your petition very seriously, and the officers have always spent some time already doing measurements and things like that to try and work out what's really happening there. Look, we support safe speeds outside schools, and there's a government policy around that, and we are going to enact that policy around school start and end times to slow the traffic down. It's going to be more signage than, I suspect, than speed bumps, depending on the situation. So we are going to act, and some of our funding is going towards that, and that's a good thing. And I do thank the officers and everything for also being very straightforward and honest, because the facts are the facts, and we've then now got to make that balancing decision, which is what our job is, to try and make sure that whatever investments we do, that we are targeting the most unsafe spots. And what officers essentially told us is there are some other spots around Wellington City that are less safe even than outside your school. And so we're going to have to deal with them first. So I do think so. We need to have an honest conversation, but I absolutely agree with Councillor Matthews that safety around, especially around children in schools, is a top priority. Thank you.
Councillor Randall. Councillor O'Brien, did you have a right of reply? No. Fantastic. With that, you may be able to take your remotes and go to a vote. I don't believe there's anything to take separately. There's only one resolution. And colleagues, while the vote's happening, I will also take a 5-minute adjournment after this. So if you want to congratulate Nina May, you can do that then. There we go, passed unanimously. We'll come back at 2 p.m.
last triennium. It's the road closures proposals. We've got 4 repeating closures, and as mentioned earlier, the premiere for the Avatar. Taken as read, and Maria is able to answer questions as well.
Colleagues, do you have any questions? Well, there is 2. I think Calvert might have been slightly earlier than you, Councillor Tiefenbacher. Oh, so polite. We'll go Councillor Tiefenbacher then.
Okay, I was just going to say, do you guys see any issues with them? Because doesn't seem to be any issues with them.
No, we manage everything through traffic management plans and safety and health and safety and everything like that.
Superb.
Councillor Kelly?
Yeah, this might just be a little bit outside regulatory processes and transport, but just looking at them, and in particular the film premiere, when you get these in, do we liaise it all with other parts of council, like around events or whatever? Because I'm just thinking of the Avatar premiere, and not that we wouldn't want this to happen, but what sort of liaison is there, if anything, with some of these promoters with the rest of council, and how does that get factored in?
The road closure doesn't come to us. We are the last on the list when it comes into the council. It comes in through the economic wellbeing, through the events team, and then it just filters down to all the people who need to be involved to get round collectively.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Makes sense?
Yep.
Mayor Little. I didn't mean to demote you just like that. Mayor Little.
There's always the performance review. I have 2 questions. One is about the Bears at the Basin. There's a few days of closing, admittedly it's the slip road, but the event itself is on a single day. Is that so?
That's correct.
What's the purpose of the several days of closing?
It's loading all the gear into the and out of the stadium, out of the Basin Reserve.
Okay, thank you.
But they do try to, because we've only got a limited time per year we can actually close in total, so we monitor it closely to make sure we can cut some days here and there on either end, so we can, yes.
Okay, thank you. And the other is really curiosity, that the timing of the closure of for the film premiere starts at 12:28 a.m. on the Saturday morning. That's a very precise figure. Is there a reason why it's 12:28 and not 12:30 a.m. or midnight?
That's what they wanted, and we had the discussion and to reduce it to make sure it stayed in that day.
Okay, all right. Well, there's good organisation and there's very precise organisation. I suppose this is what that is. Yeah.
It is unusual.
Fantastic. I don't see any other questions. Thank you both very much. I'm quite happy to move this paper. I always think of the heart of the city as being the heart of road closures. We have some fantastic events here. And I think in particular, I just wanted to highlight the work that went in around the major film premiere and Jamie and his team have been doing. Originally, the proposed road closure for this was far greater in terms of period, and they've done a significant amount of work to bring that time of closure down. And as we've just heard, they're also very specific about their timing, so it fills me with great confidence to be able to propose this motion for you all. Is there a seconder for this motion? Oh, there were 3 hands. I might have to go to Mayor Little given my earlier demotion. Do you wish to speak now or no comment? Any other debate? Councillor Calvert.
I'll make one comment. CBD may be seen as an area of road closures, but maybe it's more an area of road cones. But anyway, that's my comment.
Is there any other debate? Councillor Tiefenbacher.
I'd just like to say that road closures like this, I'm all for, mate, so you'll be loving that.
Fantastic. I don't see any other debate, and I don't think I need a right of reply. Inai ka pōtitia te mōtini, I now put the motion. Fantastic. That has been carried. We'll now move on to the road stopping. No mai Sarah Jane Still to introduce the report.
Kia ora, councillors. So this paper is asking the committee to recommend to council that it approves a proposed road stopping at 1 Fetts Crescent in Seaturn. So the proposal is to stop and sell approximately 31 square metres of legal road land to the owners of 1 Fetts Crescent. All internal teams that we've asked to comment have supported the proposal, and should the proposal be approved at council, the land will be surveyed and public notice will commence under the Local Government Act 1974. I'll take the paper as read and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I don't see any hands going up immediately. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone that would like to move this motion? Oh, I'll go with Councillor Rewati, and then if you would like, Councillor Tiffenbaki, you could second. There we go. Do you wish to speak? No need. Is there any other debate? Fantastic. E nāianei ka pōtitia te mōtini, I now put the motion. I declare the motion carried. And finally, the decision register, and I believe we are taking the report as read.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for the decision register? Councillor Randall.
I see in the upcoming March forward program, there's a significant thing around the Newtown Berempore parking scheme report, and I'm aware that scheme there was in 2 phases or 1 phase. I was just wondering if officers could maybe give a wee bit of a heads up about what's coming towards us and when perhaps the briefings and such like might occur around that.
Thank you, Councillor. That's something I'll have to check back with Liam, I think, because it's coming out of his group, so I can do that and perhaps come back to you offline, out of the meeting.
Yeah, a follow-up email will be just very helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Any other questions? Councillor Calvert.
Just following up on that, is that something the report should come to this committee as opposed to the Infrastructure Strategy Committee? Because I'm just, it's not about it's the traffic resolution is the one that implemented the decision by the committee, but it's really looking at how effective was that decision by the committee of the whole. Yeah.
Thank you. We can take a look at that. Any other questions? No. I'm happy to move this paper. Hopefully Councillor Randall will second. Is there any debate? No. I now put the motion. Tēnā kua mutu te hui, I declare the meeting closed. Me karakia tātou. Unuhia, unuhia, unuhia ki te uru tapu nui. Kia wātia, kia māma, te nākau, te tinana, te wairua. I te ara takatū, koia rā e rongo, whakairia aki ki ronga. Kia wātia, ai rā, kua wātia. Thank you all.